Good afternoon, you guys, and welcome to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to talk about 8 months of ownership with this 2SS 1LE Camaro Riverside Blue 6-speed manual Tremec. I bought the car in Phoenix, Arizona in September 2021 for $49,000. It had 5,300 miles on it. It was repossessed from what the dealership told me. They bought it at an auction. The car's had a couple little issues with it in my time of ownership, and I think it's fair to say that all of those things were caused by either the original owner or myself and the shops we had the car taken to. This car came with an AWE Axleback track exhaust. And I noticed right away, the second day I had this car, there's this rattle noise coming from the rear of the car. And I think that this exhaust was not installed properly, and they probably damaged it somehow when they were installing it, because the rattle noise and everything back there is not something that's very typical of an AWE exhaust to do. You can't find any information about something like this happening with any of these units anywhere. So that's why they screwed something up when they were installing it. I have taken this car to 3 different shops for the same issue, complaining about the rattling noise. And we made some headway on it, but we've never been able to fix it completely. So it'll rattle around every now and again in the back. I'd say probably about maybe 10% of the time you're driving it. And I'll put a link in the description to what that noise really sounds like so you can get a full idea of the annoyance it causes. But I've spent over $500–600 on the thing just trying to fix the exhaust, and with that money I could have been well on my way towards a completely different exhaust setup. So that really sucked. That really pissed me off for the first several months of ownership with this car, and that's kind of sad. But now I've basically given up and gone over it, so it's not that bad nowadays. The second thing was caused by the lowering springs I put on the car. I put on some Eibach lowering springs. They're a 0.7-inch drop, and they're a great lowering spring kit. I'm very happy with the way they work. And once again, the issues I'm having with this car were not caused by the actual unit itself, but I think during the installation process, we left out a very important detail, and that was we did not get an alignment done on the car after we put the lowering springs on. And that's something you should do no matter what. Anytime you mess with the suspension of a car, especially one like this that has MagneRide and all sorts of computers and electronics going on down there, you need to get an alignment done after. And I was told by the shop that the drop wasn't near enough, you know, to actually cause any issues. And honestly, I call bullshit on that. Because you saw about 2 months later, I was on a canyon cruise, driving the car probably the hardest I've driven it. And the whole electronic power steering assembly went freaking crazy. It said service electronic power steering in the dash. The steering wheel was shaking like crazy, and I had to pull the car over, and for about 3 or 4 minutes after the car was pulled over, it was still going completely freaking crazy. I took it to my Chevy dealer about 3 or 4 days later. These guys are crawling here. And within about 2 or 3 minutes of them plugging in their scan tool, much like I have at my house, they agreed to replace the whole electronic power steering assembly or unit under warranty, which is like over a $2,000 part right there. And 3 months later, they never replaced it. They said it was on back order, and then they just stopped talking to me. So I will never get my car serviced there or work on it again. They treated me pretty well, other than the part where they didn't care about me. So they were always nice to me, but they just didn't care to help me. But luckily, after getting a fresh alignment and getting new tires on the car, I haven't had any issues. So I think we basically repaired the car just by getting an alignment and putting new tires on the thing. I think that completely fixed it, to tell you the truth, which is great. Speaking of alignments though, after I got my alignment on the car, there's been a squeak that's been going on in this car. It's near the right front area of the vehicle, and I think it happened literally right after I got the alignment done. And I'm working with the shop trying to figure out the problem, but basically just over any bump, anytime you shift the car and, you know, it jerks a little or does a little bit of movement during the shift, you just hear a little squeak, squeak, squeak. And you can only hear it when the window's down, so it's not that loud, but that's my biggest thing I'm trying to fix right now. So 3 little negative issues that have all been caused by basically taking it to the wrong place to get worked on. And I'm sad to say, but that's kind of how it happens sometimes. So my piece of advice would be, if you were to get one of these cars, leave it stock or be very careful where you get the thing worked on. Because I can tell you otherwise, this has been a really good car. And none of the issues that have happened with this thing can be traced back to General Motors, honest to God. Much as I want to blame them for anything, nothing that has gone on with this car can be traced back to them. And that's just the truth. This thing's fun, man. This thing's a lot of fun. It just is. Some of the highlights on this thing are obviously the Eibach transmission is absolutely amazing on this car. I mean, woo! She's just great. This car loves to boogie. It loves to hustle. And obviously with it being a 1LE, one of the biggest things is obviously how good it handles in a corner and how much abuse it can take at high speeds. I mean, and it's just an absolute blast to drive. So despite the little issues I've had with this car, I don't regret it one bit. I just wish I took it to different people when I got the thing worked on before. And I wish this person ahead of me, you can't see him right now, but I wish they would move out of my way so we could really boogie here. But I don't think that's going to happen because people these days have zero awareness for what's going on around them. So in a second here, I want to show you some of the highlights of what this car is like to take through some corners, and I also want to show you the exterior to see how this car is looking right now. So hang tight, you guys. We'll be right back. You guys, so as you can see here, it's a beautiful day out over here, and it's a beautiful day to match this beautiful car. Now it's pretty dirty today, so I'm just kind of showing you. I mean, it is a daily driver, so showing you how it is in its current form, or how it is most of the time, I should say. Quite a few changes to the car on the exterior side. You can see we do have some carbon fiber side skirts right here on it. Some Continental tires, which are not stock, of course, which have been doing great. You can see we have a carbon fiber front splitter on her now, which does look very good as well. And the thing that brought me to this car was just the Riverside Blue, man. It looks so good. Just amazing. This thing really sparkles, you know, in the sunshine. It's just a beautiful looking car. One thing I did also forget to mention is I did put a Mighty Mouse catch can on this car. I'm gonna put a list in the description of all the little tweaks and mods this car does have to it to basically show you what the build is. You can hear that AWE Axleback. Friggin' loud. But it's just a really nice car on the exterior side of it. We're working with a really good package right now. It's just good. We are working on a carbon fiber rear wing. That may be coming in a few weeks, we'll see. But as you can tell, it's just a really nice car. It is worth it, yes. As I almost fall, as I've recorded this for you. All right, you guys, so between good looks, great handling, an amazing transmission right there, what's not to like? I mean, operating costs are pretty expensive on this, but a lot like they would be with any other V8 muscle car. So, I mean, it's just a blast. It does all the right things. And like I told you, my only issues have really been with stuff either myself or the original owner did to it. So, that's about it for now. 8 months down. Amazing, great, fun car to drive. And hopefully many more to come with this thing. And that's about all I got for now. If you have any questions about my ownership or about the car itself, questions, comments, anything like that, please leave a comment in the comment section, and I promise I will reply back to you. Please like, subscribe, share it if you like. Don't have enough people watching this, but my Instagram is pretty good, so thank you for that on Instagram. Keep that going. And that's about all I got for now, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see you again in the next one.